Boo! Hello everyone, welcome to Angle Guides, your favorite series on YouTube. Today we're covering Ascent. We'll look through all the different common angles, tricky spots, just map metas you need to be aware of. We're going to start on attack, make our way clockwise around the entire map, and then switch to defense, do the same thing. Let's get her going. Very first angle we're going to check is right here. This is always a first angle. Some people check it twice like this and then more out like this because sometimes duelists hold this off angle at the start of the round like here. If you peek this at the start, remember that there can't be a player in this corner. This will go for both sides, and I'll show you what this looks like. But if you peek this at the start, can't be a player. This means as soon as the barrier drops, you go through and you peek. If you wait any longer, what's going to happen is this person's going to shift walk over to this corner. You see how tight that timing is? So really important we do that. Both of these early areas are going to have an orb. So after we get this, ideally someone just grabs the orb. It's basically free every single time. Go ahead and nab that to your preferred player or just grab it yourself. If you're coming late, it's pretty much the same thing. You check this, and then you hug this back wall, angle advantage, smile, and you peek this. Now we're going to head towards site. You can see I instinctively look towards market already. Sometimes this isn't smoked off, sometimes it is. You can check log, and then the next spot you're going to check is these stairs here. This is another really common spot, and we're going to look towards CT. This is good to break down a little. That's why I checked 3. I checked like right side CT, left side CT, and then stairs. And then you can look towards boat. Again, a lot of this is just slicing the pie as much as possible. We always assume that like default smokes are down, so here and here, but the abilities are going to change a lot throughout each and every game. So I'm going to show you this like there is no abilities. So if there is no abilities, the best that you can do is just peek into lane. Just peek into lane. Clear that spot. And there's still this little area to be careful of. Someone could be standing right here. And this is really hard to clear. This is why we need abilities. Because even if we look here and we see all this looks clear, there's still a chance someone can be there. It's a broken spot. But once you clear that, you can scale this back wall here. And then you can look towards here. That's your first option. And then your second option is to start to come out towards site. You're exposing yourself to logs in this process. So if you want to throw something for logs, it's not a bad idea. Or you can just check when you're going out, but then you get to run the risk of this guy. So you gotta kind of decide which one here. There's really no perfect answer. But as you start to come out lane, this is when you check backside, and then this. And then default here is very difficult to clear. Even if I run all the way out here, players who play here are very smart and can just hide behind the box right here and you'll never see them. And then they'll just peek out and timing you when they hear your footsteps. So we check the major spots and backside, default, and then we go out towards stairs until we get here. Once you clear that, you just hop on backside. You clear back left side. This spot's really broken. Another very common spot, just like this one. That's very tough to clear. Gets a lot of value. And then you swing out backside. You clear all this, and now you've effectively cleared site. Most of it's been pretty good. There's some spots we missed like here, and we'll show you different pathing for that. The important thing, and I tell this a lot to my entries because this is mostly an entry job, is to make sure site is completely clear. If you can check mark the site after you've gone through it, like there's no danger here, boss, we've cleared everything, it's the perfect entry. So in that first one, we missed one spot, and that's just this corner. That's the only spot we missed out of everything here. So now your second entry is to instead of running out lane, we go here, clear logs, and then we run out and clear that, close the door, and then we scale this right side, clear stairs, clear back site, next back site also default, and next part of default, and then this corner. And then now your real threat is to clear back site. You can check this corner, barely anyone plays here. It's really not a great spot, and your lanes players are probably going to clear this at the same time. So we're just going to head towards back site. So now we'll head towards back site. And it's pretty much the same thing where you check this one side as best you can and then this corner. People can kind of play here. That's why it's better if you check it like here before you go in, just to remove that as much as possible. But the nice thing is you can see this spot for your teammates if you come from this right side. Okay, and I'm going to start adding something onto this. When you get site, the best spot to plant is going to be right against this wall here. This exposes it to stairs, lane. It's really easy to play against backside. Now before we go mid, I want to show you this circle right here. This is the def spots for attackers in the first 20 seconds. We go over here, this is the kill spots. If you guys aren't familiar with these are heat maps. I give this and some other resources to my Ko-Fi subs. We have resources for every map and agent there. And there's a beautiful lesson to not peek cat. Don't peek cat. this player wins majority of the time. This is something that should always be smoked off or taken way more considerably. What this looks like is instead of peeking this right off the bat, instead maybe we jump spot it, or instead we ask for like a smoke here. I could show you the angle for this, but there really is no perfect way to approach this because of how unfairable it is. But I will say this is a good spot to fight on ecos. Maybe if you have a marshal or something, because it's almost a guaranteed fight. A lot of duelists like to peek cat. So you wide swing and then you swing into the angle. And that's going to lead to a bit more success in that area. Okay, but going forward, we're jump spotting this, we're making sure it's smoked, and we're pushing towards the bottom mid, because we're going to start to scale up mid. And we always peek back here, then towards market. Then you peek as much as you can off this left side here, and then again back, put your butt against this as much as you can, and then we peek out. Always want to put your butt as far back. There's a lot of angle advantage spots in this map. Now that we check that corner, we can go forward, check this corner with our butt against the wall here, then we just switch again, and then you could slow peek this a bit better. Again, I'm assuming there's a smoke top mid here because this is very, very common. Next up, we're going to scale up through B, and it's pretty much the same danger we want to be careful of. Logs, stairs, lane you don't usually have to worry about unless you like see teammates fighting here and you guys are doing like a B split, but you're really concerned about like stairs and logs. So mindful of this area when you come out, peek into here, peek towards lane, see if there's anyone holding sight, and then kind of jiggle it like this and then come out and clear this. This is kind of similar for this spot here. If you're not able to like go all the way back here and take this angle and clear this deeply, you can do the same thing where you kind of jiggle and just see if someone's in this corner. And if you do it fast enough, this player will actually have very little time to react. So they'll be standing in this corner, you're going to jiggle really quick and they're like, oh shoot, and you'll be out of their way. So you can jiggle this really quickly, not commit to anything, and just see if something's there. That's the best way to mitigate that because there's just so much risk you take. You can do the same thing here too. You jiggle this right side and then you come out on logs. Okay, then you come outside just like normal. We're going to attach to our same pathings here. Okay, now going up cat here is going to be the same as going up top mid. I want to emphasize that this map is very big on team control. So smoke bottom mid, dart bottom mid, smoke cat is very, very common plays. If everyone plays their role on this map, it actually becomes a very easy map. It's a very well-designed map where all the utility from your teammates complements each other. So we usually see a dart bottom mid, clears all the bottom mid, and we see like a smoke cat. Okay, and that allows us to scale up here. You can peek into market, you can take this choice, but most of the time people are just going to scale up cat. And we're not going to clear much because we're just going to go up cat. You can go down bottom mid, but you're going to attach to our same pathing as before. Nothing's going to change. When you come up cat, usually if you don't have this player here, or usually if you smoke it off, you're going to have to be careful to smoke, and then you have to come into this here. So we check this first angle, then we check on top of this box, and then we check this close corner. Notice how my butt's always against these walls. Don't forget this, people. I would suggest jiggling this first angle just to see if someone's there. This is usually where players like to hold, and then we can get this smoke down. If not, check towards here. Once you check the tree cross, you want to check this closed flower pot here. This is one spot players can play, and it's pretty tricky. If not, we scale forward. Your next spot you want to check is towards sight here, and then this corner, and then now you're starting to come outside. Okay, when you come outside, it's going to be pretty similar. We want to check this, or you want to look towards heaven first and just assume that corner is clear. But a lot of times this corner gets in value when people come through cat. I've seen this happens a lot in pro play. Pro players play this spot and people never expect it and they just destroy. And you can't full clear the spot from here. You can look towards some of heaven here and then clear the spot and then start to come out. But now you get a lot of dangers to worry about. So again, a lot of this is intel based. So for example, if we have A main players right now, when we come out sight here, right, when we start to come into the space, we don't have to worry about this. But if we don't have anyone A main to look over here, we have to worry about this. We have to. So even when we come out sight, we clear all these angles and we check back sight and we do everything, there's still this A main player that exists. So it's very, very scary. Most people tend to leave like a Cypher Sentinel type person, maybe even the controller, towards A main, just to scale up very late. Yeah, next up is just when you come out sight, you usually check towards dice again, and then you check towards back gen, and then you just hop up top gen. You can actually do that silent jump, and then you check towards hell, then towards dice. Okay, and then you approach sight, and you just clear this left side of hell. And that's pretty much it. You've cleared all sight. Everything's done for. Now I'm going to try to take all these concepts and put them to A main, because A main is exactly like B main. There's actually very little difference. There's an early orb here you can grab. There's the early timing you want to be careful whether you can walk into line, or even just close right here is always an option. And we always want to use some sort of utility when we come out. Again, everyone on here should be trying to play their roles. So we should have an early flash coming through here. Boom. Now we can come out sight. or we need to have like a Sova drone it, or a Sova dart it, or a Fade dog it, or a Cypher cam it. A lot of the stuff is really important here. Because your goal, this map is such a traditional map, it's so well to learn roles on. I'll show you more what I mean on defense too. But first, we all know the common angle here. There's some people who even know these like lineups for this spot where they can just peek out and always have their crosshair right on that corner when they peek. You can be cringe like that, but always check this first angle and then check this second angle. Never forget this second angle. Another thing you can do, this is what I love to do because very few people expect it, is you can silent jump onto these boxes. Now, if you guys don't know silent jumping, I'll throw up my overlay real quick. Basically, what you do is every time you jump, it's gonna make a noise. Every time I jump here, noise, noise, noise. So what you wanna do is hold shift right before you jump. So you run a little and then you hold shift and jump. And you can do that for every single time you jump from a lower elevation to a higher one. So right, jump, noise, noise, noise. Here, shift jump, shift jump, shift jump, all silence. So this is a really nice spot to get into and then like wait for your teammates to peek and then peek after and then also clear this close. My favorite spot. Okay, if you don't clear it close, be careful of the wind timing if you're pushing in late main. And now we're coming outside. This is probably the most common spot that people explain, like slicing the pie is this A main area, which is insane. Usually what you want to do is look towards dice, other side of dice, towards hell, back gen, left side back gen. It's really the big dangers. You can look towards heaven, but I want us to have this vertical figured out first. If you want to look towards heaven, there's basically this spot and then like this spot. You don't really look here because players are sometimes out here. So it's kind of just in the middle here. And then you start to scale up sight. This is tricky, but you can really take two ways. One is this right side where you can clear this left side, or the other is this left side where you clear this right side. Okay, my favorite's the right side because I can do this and then I can clear this. This is all just assuming no abilities, and this is praying to God I don't get peeked from any of these other spots in the meantime. Okay, so good luck with that. If you can't clear those, pray to God you have an initiator. If you are the initiator, make sure you clear the spot. Because going out A without any utility is literally impossible. It's literally impossible. There's too many angles to worry about. And it only makes it possible if everyone's doing their role, or at least does something for the role. For example, the jet dashes updraft dashes over here, or dashes over here, or the initiator clears these close angles with an eye or a dog or a dart or a sky dog or sky flash or whatever. Like, we just need some intel, something going into this. The jet can also get this on our dash out. The controller always needs to be throwing their smokes here. The sentinel basically just needs to have a trip flank. Maybe they're late lurking towards cat, maybe they're with their team here and the cypher cam like right side. Or if you're someone like Fives, maybe you're throwing your thorns like towards dice and making it so those guys can't peek, or towards gen. And there's a lot of abilities here, and there's really good. You can place with a molly, a slow, so many different abilities that just clear this. If you're flashing out, make sure you flash on the open so all these angles are dealt with. Ability usage is really important, folks. But I digress. Anyways, let's start to come out sight. Usually left side pathing is going to be better. I'll show you why. You can clear that side there if you want to delay it for later, and you can close the door here. And now you're worried about the on-site angles, which is good. It's a good place to be. Usually people scale up gen here, and we do the same path we did when we came through. So hell and then dice. Hell and then dice. Okay. If you're going right side, it's very risky, but because the heaven player can swing you at any time, usually the rotators are here by now. So you're going to deal with heaven players. And so like going far right side makes it so this player can fight you and you alone. Once you have to swing here and fight the left side players, they're exposed to the A main players. Okay. So usually right side's a little bit more dangerous. If you want to take it closer, you can. I just really wouldn't suggest it unless you're sure they won't come from heaven. Again, maybe we have an ability for heaven. Makes it a bit easier for them not to come out. Right? Oh, what the heck? This goes down. Today I learned this goes down. Okay. Anyways, when you're scaling right side, however, it's actually pretty good because you can clear both dice and gen at the same point, but you have to worry about left side hell because this all comes on your screen at once. I would probably focus on gen and hell and then just hope there's not a hell player because that spot's way more unlikely. And then you would come in here and then clear right side hell. Again, always make sure backside's clear. This is a problem I see all the time, and low elo, mid elo is they don't clear the backsides and they just start planting the bomb. Even in high elo, this becomes a problem. You need to be able to check mark the site and be like, I'm done. I'm out ski. Okay. Now it's time for defense. If you guys want some of these resources I have, by the way, here's the Ko-Fi. Here's the different stuff. This is basically a private community. This is basically a Q&A join in on sub games that we do. And then here's what we were looking at, where there's just a bunch of resources for all the agents, all the maps. It's an absolute beautiful resource, and I highly recommend it for any player who's interested or just enjoying this video. If you have it and you'd like to support, definitely check that out. Let's go ahead and start some defense. So generally, I would never play this corner or this corner unless you have someone complementing your position. Even if you take this early fight, it's good to have something like a smoke to complement your position. These are very, very risky spots, and thus they need to be complemented with something to make them less risky. You're assuming that your teammates aren't going to be smart. They're not going to flash the corner. They're not going to drone out sight. They're not going to dart sight. They're not going to do anything, and they're just going to come and run into your crosshair. It's a very inconsistent way to play. So when you take this early fight, one-way smoke, really good here. Dart, really good here. Okay, need something to complement it. If you can get over to this corner and play this spot, it's pretty good. I would actually suggest for some players, this is probably a later round strategy, like round 6 or 7 into the half, that you try to make it to wine. This wine spot's really strong, especially if you have someone complementing who's like kind of holding cat at the same time. This spot gets massive value. It's also a really nice anchor spot. If you can get here, it is nice. It is nice. You can play this angle like crazy. You can hold back here and wait for noise. You can play off someone's contact. This is the god idea here, is you play off someone's contact and you swing off as those close players are fighting. You can probably get one of their teams behind, and then the person they were fighting, let me tell you, beautiful spot. If you can get there, beautiful spot. But at the end of just going B, GG, you just rotate. Okay, next spot we talked about was this. Again, make sure you have a teammate that complements you. Remember, this is very team-oriented map, very team-oriented map. So you need to have the person there to play with you. Okay, next up, this spot, exact same idea. Then we have some dice and gen spots. So this is my favorite spot personally, is this angle here, either from under heaven or close dice here. Both of these work pretty dang well, because you can also swing this left side, but you can also give yourself some room to maneuver, and then you can also tuck back hell at the end of it. And this is good because it's just a general safe spot. It's very hard to kill you from the spot, and if things get too hectic, being able to tuck back here, now you can just play like the switch angle. It's pretty dang good. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty dang good. There's the gen spot, but what tends to happen here is people don't play it right, and then they just get swarmed. So you really want to play this where you take this fight here, and you take you take this fight here. You need some fight immediately to clear up some space. What happens a lot is they get swarmed by both these angles. This actually probably happens anyways. You get swarmed by both angles, and then you're stuck in this position, and you have such little space to maneuver. This player clears you, and then you're like stuck against this. Being stuck against this can be a good strat too, where you just sit here and then you wait for someone to close the door, and then you come up and you're probably good for one there, and then you're probably praying for your rotators to come in, or you're waiting for like a door player to suddenly swing out and attack, and you're playing off that. Okay, more of a patient style. You could do the same thing over here too. You could play very patient angles on dice here, and it pays off because these people have to come on site and they have to go through all these angles. And play that to your advantage 100%. Okay, next up is tiles / cat. Now the cat role I think is the most important role on Ascent, because this cat player needs to know what they're doing, and too often do I see them completely lost. So whatever, peak tiles, you know the drill. There's no perfect thing here. Try to make sure your head height, of course, and when you peek out, if you don't see anything here for the first 3 seconds, if you're jump peeking this, if you're wide swinging it and holding it from here, if you're just peeking it normally, whatever, after 3-4 seconds, you need to look top mid. You need to just check top mid. You can jump peek it too. We can pray these guys aren't going to peek you. You can just hug against this back wall so you're a bit safer, and then you can back up and look at it. But you need to check top mid. This is the number one problem cat players have, is they don't check top mid. And what this means is you don't get mid info. I forgot to mention this on attacking side, but mid is the most important spot on Ascent. Too many people just funnel through B and A main, and they get caught by like one piece of utility, and then they lose the space control. So there's like a one way here, or there's like a Vise molly here, and then they just don't have A main, or they want to come out A and there's just a Vise molly here, and it just instantly stops their push. They have no intel, and if this cat player is doing their job, they're going to look towards mid, see nothing, and now you're going to have complete mid control. These guys are going to be sandwiched in A main, and it's going to be cooked. It's going to be absolutely cooked. It's massive intel to have. So this cat player needs to be a bit more aggressive for intel, 100%. Okay, if you go up here, you see nothing, you're chilling, you can play back. If you notice they're starting to like group up A and starting to come out A, I would also think about checking towards cat. Just make sure it's not an A split, and then you can focus on the A hit with your team. Really important. Too many times I see them like try to focus this and fight this, and they're like, oh crap, okay, I gotta get out, and then there's like a player right here and they're just dead. So avoid that at all costs, please. Okay, next up is if you're playing from tree, you want to jump on this corner, you just jump, press this a little, as it's kind of a weird spot, but if you can get up here, it's a beautiful little off angle, Even from up here, it's a beautiful little off angle. Very few people expect it, but it's kind of tricky to get into. So you're gonna have to practice a little in customs, and once you get it, you kind of went on the corner of the box, but you kind of went to the right a little. That's kind of my best instructions for you. And this spot is nasty. You can also tap D a little, get it a bit wider. The spot is pretty dang nasty when you play it. Okay. Besides that, you can hold from the default, like right here, or you can wait back towards tree. You don't play tree though. Like generally you don't play tree unless they've come through tree and you're just like late here for some reason, or you had to go here for some reason. Okay. If you're peeking from heaven, there's really no specialty to it. Make sure you look towards here first and like full clear gen before you peek out towards A. And it's pretty much the same thing. You just take everything one by one. I would suggest you take this angle. You can be careful of this, whatever, or like under, whatever. But these are the big spots. This is the big spot. You can worry about the little stuff, like people under hell, people in that close box are generally going to be cleared. I'm talking about like, they could be playing like right here, and it's cheese. But you come out here and then you full clear that corner, and that's really good info. Now it's like, okay, they have to be dice, or they have to be like close hell, or A main. Okay, so that's really nice info. And then you can drop down and do like our same clears we basically did on attack. Okay, and then we clear those spots. That's generally how it works when you're retaking that space. And it's kind of the same for towards A as when we went through cat on attack, right? So something really cool is this game can get really repetitive, and a lot of the things, if you practice them and have them down really good, they're gonna just pay off because they're gonna waterfall into other aspects. So we practice this attack hit. It's actually the same exact angle clearance and everything, even the part about being careful of A main. It's a huge aspect of this. Okay. Now we can cover mid a bit. Mid again, if you're going here, complement, you need someone to complement you. You need someone to break this silver dart. If you're going here without it, you need to be very mindful of that. Okay, left side's pretty dang good. If you're opping, you can take this right side. If you're opping this right side, the trick here, I mean, if you're low elo, you could just hit it. If you're mid elo, you can do this and maybe this. If you're high elo, always look here. People love to jump peek this spot, and literally only look here because people would love to jump peek and they're just holding this. You will get the kill. I've done this plenty of times and it works beautifully, absolutely beautifully. Okay, next up is if you don't want to play the spot and you want to just play one of the corners, you can 100% do that. Just be mindful of this dart right here. Just be mindful of a util right here, because you need a teammate for it to be there, or you need to have like some fallback to get out. Maybe you're Jet, you need to be mindful that you need to be able to dash out. If you're Reyna, you need to be mindful you need to just flash out and fight people and get the dismiss and get out, because you can't be caught in this corner. You just can't. Same thing kind of applies for this one. It's a bit less dangerous. I like this one a bit better because you can watch cat here. Even with the smoke down, you can still see part of cat, and it's pretty dang good. It's also pretty easy spot to come late out of. It's generally safer, and then you can like walk out of the smoke and go for a timing off your cat player or like flash out. The big thing here is like this pathing is very common for attackers. Like they lose B main and they're like running up cat, or they're like grouping up with their cat players, and this player can capitalize on it really easily by just playing this corner, walk into the smoke, and then walk out and shoot. Very, very nasty. That's basically mid. Not a whole lot more to that. Next up is this market player. Again, really nothing here. This is the same as when we retake. This retake / hold is basically the same as when we went through market on attack. So no big difference here. Same checks you want to do. If you're just holding it, obviously you're holding this farther angle because this is the max spot they can be. Market players a bit better for timings and playing off site players, and they're generally not used to they're generally not used for first contact because everyone looks here first and it's not exposed to a lot, right? There's no site players gonna fight me here. Well, if the market player waits till I'm like out here and coming towards lane, they're gonna have way better odds, and maybe they can isolate me a bit better. So there's your general principle here. Same with the CT one. This angle's not bad when they walk out CT. This is actually way more preferable. Most of the time it's gonna be smoked off though, so you're gonna be doing the same thing the market player does and kind of wait for a timing. Let's cover some more on-site angles. Stairs is pretty good. Stairs player usually has to be holding this. It's kind of awkward. This wall is all baneable, so you want to kind of avoid being too exposed here. And if they start to come outside, be very mindful again of the darts and stuff that comes through. These things are very important to break. They're very, very common. You want to kind of avoid them at all costs. It's a very good map, by the way. If you're just learning the game, Ascent is the best map traditionally. It has a lot of very common patterns, a lot of very predictable utility, and as long as you can think, like if I can think there's a Sova on the enemy team, I can predict he's going to throw this dart literally every single time. If there's a Fade, I'm going to predict she's going to throw our dog out this area every single time. So as a Cypher, maybe I can counter that. Or if they have like a Sova, maybe I won't throw my Killjoy mollies on lane. Maybe I'll throw them close main instead. And you can do this for like, if I'm a duelist, I'm not going to play here. Maybe they have a breach, so they have no intel. So I play this corner instead because they don't have the intel to clear it. A lot of this stuff is really important, and it comes out so much on Ascent. So much on Ascent. So yeah, let's just go through it. Let's just go through that. So the next good spot is this corner here. If they don't have something to clear, this is a really good spot. If you don't have something to clear, this is a pretty good spot too. But these spots are also good if you have someone to complement it. Hey, we're repeating concepts. So this person breaks your drone, this person breaks your dog, this person breaks the eye, this person breaks the dog, everything. So have someone to complement that. My favorite spot to play is here, but it's because I like to play Sova too, so I can do this and then spam the wall at the same time. Okay, my next spot for you though would be this. If you go to this side right here, they literally can't see you, can't clear you. You can play off Valorant, you can break this stuff for your teammate, you can spam this for some reason if you wanted to, but really you're playing for like a lane player or when they start to come out sight and you're just waiting for a timing and then you're peeking out. If you have a flash, even better. Like as Vi's here, I could throw a flash behind me, pop the flash, swing with it, and all these players will be blind, and that's just absolutely beautiful. That's just absolutely beautiful. So this spot's really good. Another decent spot is like this angle here, but you're really going for head taps here, and I like a few other spots better than it. My favorite spot is right here, this little boathouse right side. You get to play this very often, and it's usually the best fallback. Like I would literally just combine these two spots together, play this spot, and then fall back sight, and then play this spot. This reposition is really helpful. Repositioning backside is really helpful because it's a good spot to stall. Here's the real concept, people. It's a good place to stall, and when you're stalling and you're living for longer, these players are going to come in, and if they're good enough, they're going to help you on site, or you're just going to be able to kill an enemy and delay, and then they're going to be there already, and they can like flood on site as they're trying to plant the bomb. So it's really nice, guys. It's really nice just to live when you're on this site. So that's my general suggestion for most players. You can do stairs and do the same thing where you run backside after. Playing this side isn't as bad. You're gonna have more trouble with the lane player. You can't really peek as much, and you're gonna have to worry about them wrapping you here. So you probably play like more towards stairs here, or you try to like play this angle more closely here and try to do something with to fight this guy. Like I would just suggest this side. I'm not gonna lie. There's really no other insane spots you can play on this site. There's one spot, I mean, and I'll throw this one at you guys just for fun so we have something. As I said, like this left side is really good. One, you can play there. Two, you can play here and hold towards stairs, or hold like the walkout, or you can hold like the walkout lane from here. I never see people play here. I would love to see people play here. I think it's a pretty good spot. Just be careful of stairs, or same thing here, careful of lane. I would love to say send some clips in the Discord, guys. Send some clips in the Discord. That'd be beautiful. But that's pretty much it for this. I mean, I talked about this, but it's basically the same thing. You hold from back here, and that's it. You hold from back here. If they come here, great. I would suggest duelists who like can get out, or chambers who can get out, to play more out here. If you have a teammate to complement you, you can go all the way here. This is a beautiful strat on eco rounds. You get like a judge here, and you are smelting, kids. If you have a teammate to complement you, complement. It is a beautiful play. If you have a killjoy turret to complement you from here, it's a beautiful play. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is just teamwork, and it comes out so much on Ascent. And that's literally that. That's all of Ascent. I really don't have any more general tips for you. I have general anti-tips, but like don't break that door down there. Just don't do it. 9 times out of 10 it's bad. I've had teammates break. I have a setup like right here, they break the door. It's just great. It doesn't really give a benefit. Them going switch is actually pretty dang good thing most of the time. So because it's a predictable pathing, and this player backside can play off of it. General suggestion. Okay, definitely good things to consider. Anyways, I'm just floating. This is the end of the guide. I hope you enjoyed. Check out the other ones in the description. Check out the other videos in the description. If you want to understand the space control concept more idea, there's another Ascent video in that playlist that I would really recommend. Okay, my hands are now black, which means it's time to put the clothes on the rack and end this video. Goodbye, boos.